It's round 4. We're back. Let's bring it in. I'm here with one of our mods, Lone Digger here. We are going to be bringing you from the lower bracket playoffs here. We have Bug Hogaak versus 12 Post. How are you doing, Lone? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've been watching all the previous rounds, and it's been going super great. Some awesome matches, and I'm excited to cast this one.
This is going to be a very interesting matchup. We have Bug Hogaak being piloted, and we have one of the decks that everyone keeps talking about, 12 Posts. How are you feeling about this game?
Great. To be honest, most of the time I played against Hogaak was in Modern, which was total miserable, awful, that sort of thing. I assume there's a little bit of the same sort of stuff in Legacy, but although there's a lot more going on the other side of the table to interact with that, I'm sure it'll be much more reasonable.
Yeah,
seeing as the top end, obviously.
Yeah, we basically have what is basically colorless prison on the right side of 12 Post, and against one of the fastest decks in Legacy here, we have Bug Hogaak, which, if you have any idea, basically put your entire deck into the graveyard, get your gigantic Hogaak Arisen Necropolises out, swing for lethal as fast as turn 2. So we're going to see either some very, very fast magic, or we're going to see a grind fest here if 12 Post can get off and running fast enough.
It's good to have that dichotomy almost, because then even though you can kind of tell who's going to win, like if the game ends in 2 minutes, I used to do that with video VODs of SCG events. Like I'd go watch someone play Infect, and if the video is 6 minutes long, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess Infect won 2-0. So in this regard, yeah, if Hogaak kind of just goes for it, and then I'm looking at the stream and I'm like, oh, it's 1-0 already? Yeah, I guess the Hogaak deck went off before the Prison deck could get its legs underneath it. But otherwise, if we're going to sit here and we're going to see a lot of stuff happening, it probably goes better towards the 12 Post side of the table.
So yeah, let's head over to the table side here and let's see how we're getting into. All right, so we are here with Left Coast, and I believe that is Malfi in our 2 spot. Malfi is the higher seed here, so they will be able to pass or play here. Left Coast on the Bug Hogaak with an incredible play mat. And Malfi on the 12 Post list. So what are you liking here? What are you not liking here about this possible matchup here?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that I don't like the Prison. Not in terms of the deck in general or in Malfi. It's an awesome deck, and love playing against him, but it's real hard to get. As you said, Hogaak is so fast, it's real hard to get him. There's just, sometimes it's not enough. Even if you start off with a super quick Chalice on 1, they can still get past that. There's so many things they can do and just still go faster than whatever Prison elements you play.
Yeah, it does help that Malfi is our higher seed, so they get to be on the play for the game 1. So that could be playing into their favor. But yeah, Bug Hogaak can just really get there on turn 2 if they're not careful.
Right.
I think the 12 Post has every ability to win after turn 4, but I just don't think that Left Coast lets the game go that long.
Yeah, Left Coast really does not want to go anywhere past turn 4 at all. Just throw a bunch of power on the board and check off that bingo space, I think. Are we still doing bingo? Most people already won their boards, but there's one for swing for 20, 16 power on board, all that stuff. Put a bunch of power on board. They want to do that real quick, definitely before turn 4.
Hey, I'm just saying, if we get all 4 Hogaaks onto the battlefield somehow, if some way we get ready to remove legendary creature stats, we can get 32 power on the board. By all means, let's have at it.
I'd love to see it.
I mean, we could see possibly 2 or 3 play sets of cards come onto the battlefield here for Hogaak. We could see a whole play set of Bloodgasp come out, a whole play set of Vengevine hit the battlefield at the same time. I mean, this deck is so fast if it hasn't, but if it just doesn't go Left Coast way, Malfi we got Ulamog, we've got Golos, we've got Walking Ballista, Stonecoil Serpents, we've got even one of my favorite cards, All Is Dust, just shutting down that deck.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of cards, just total haymakers. If Left Coast is 1 turn too slow, he puts all these cool creatures on the battlefield, and he just can't get there in time. All His Dust comes in, or Ugin Spirit Dragon, and just wipes the board, and all this stuff is gone. It's not even back in the graveyard for you to start again. It's in exile, and you've got to find another way to rebuild all these creatures that you put in the graveyard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see like I said, I think there's only 2 ways this match goes. Either Left Coast destroys this matchup in 2 or 3 turns with as fast of a deck as they can possibly play, or Malfi is just going to eventually just turn the key, lock it down, and really go into Prison. And Malfi mulliganing very aggressively here, already down to 5 to find those answers to bug Hogaak.
Yeah, we're looking at these open deck lists here. Malfi knows exactly what he's up against, and probably looking at some opening hands that are great in any sort of blind match. But when you look at what you're playing against, you're like, this just does nothing, and then I die. So you definitely got to go pretty deep on this at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with us having these open deck lists, we could be seeing a lot of great hands from Malfi. You said it yourself in a blind matchup, but knowing that you're on possibly a turn 2 clock can be brutal to sit across from. And it looks like we might be getting there for Malfi. And Corey and Ashley now on this deck. Thank you guys so much. Corey, thank you so much. Ashley, welcome to the stream. Corey is actually one of our mods here, and Ashley, his wife. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We thank you guys for all that. So it looks like Malfi is going to keep 5 here, thinking real hard of what to put on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a hard decision. We don't know obviously what's in his hand, but when you take a 7 and then you've got to get rid of 2 cards that you usually don't look at a 7 and go, I don't need some of these cards. Why I don't want them. There's very few cards that you're just going to throw away, so it's definitely a tough choice.
Yeah, it's really exciting because we've seen a lot of these decks come in this week, into this thing, all getting newer cards. Funny thing is that Bug Hogaak seems to be the only deck this weekend that didn't really get any updates from Zendikar, but 12 Post running that new Forsaken Monument really allowing them to go faster, and we're going to see an instant Chalice on 1 for Malfi. Slams that Chalice down like, nope, we're not playing this game.
Yep. Is that the target when you're mulliganing, just for that Chalice on 1?
I think so, especially when you're hoping they just don't slam Hedron Crab on 1. Gonna make sure they hit the Chalice. And just a quick pass.
Yes, we'll see just how effective that Chalice is. There's a lot of 1s in the Hogaak deck, and most of their fastest starts just come off the back of going to town on their 1-mana spells, but they can find a way to cobble something together after that.
Yeah, a quick slam of a City of Traders into a Basalt Monolith. Really excited to see here. Right into a Sorcerer's Spyglass. Malfi having possibly having one of the best starts of this list they could have. So Malfi mulliganing very aggressively, working very well here.
Seeing an Altar, Bridge from Below, Vengevine, and Hogaak in hand. What do you name?
And a Verdant.
And the Verdant.
I actually don't know what the naming here. I don't know much about the. I do not know much about the Bug Hogaak list for what to name here. It's one of my weakest matchups in Death and Taxes. Maybe naming, because I really don't think there's anything you can really name other than the Altar.
Is it going to be Verdant? See here, or a Table Spotter.
Yeah, Malfi names Verdant. Okay, yeah, I think that's the second best option there. If you're just not sure what to hit there. Yeah,
if you've looked at the hand and right now there's only 1 land in play and a Chalice on 1. What else is going to happen?
Yeah,
you're just going to top deck Dryad, so that's reasonable enough. At least you're at 2 now.
Yeah,
kind of.
Just going to lock that down. Plays a Dryad and passes. This was the perfect start for Malfi, having all of that ramp straight into a Sorcerer's Spyglass, just shutting them off. But Chalice on 1 to get rid of a careful study is huge.
Yeah, that's definitely very important.
Especially when they had Hogaak and Vengevine in hand. Into, I believe, is that
Bridge? Yeah, Ensnaring Bridge with no cards in hand, it looks like.
Yeah.
So wow. This is a wow game, because even if Hogaak puts it together and gets past all the Chalice, gets past their land being named with Verdant, and gets past just everything, you gotta get past the bridge too. You can't even attack with all the creatures you've been.
Yeah, that was one of the best 5 keeps I think I've ever seen from a 12 post list, and just having more and more answers here, down to 14, with Basalt Bridge, Sorcerer's Spyglass, Sphere of Resistance, just doing everything they needed to there. Goodness gracious. And a Blast Zone to take anything away from that. Gonna try and get the Careful Study off again.
Chalice check, and you have to pay 1 more for it because of the Sphere.
Chalice.
Okay, yeah, never mind.
We'll take a take back there.
We won't Chalice check this time.
So yeah, I think you're having a question of what the actual converted mana cost of that is. It is still one convert CMC, but it
Yes.
has a tax on it. So he can attempt to play it, and the chalice check will still check it.
Required to pay the tax still costs 1 CMC. So
Yeah.
Chalice
So
will catch that.
unfortunately, yeah. And like I said, so for those who are wondering why is he playing into a chalice like that, it is up to the player owning the chalice to make sure that card is countered. Yeah, so that card has to be countered by the player activating the chalice. If a chalice player forgets that card resolves. It
Yep.
is not a may, it is not a must. It is you have to remember your own chalice trigger. And you'll see a lot of players miss that quite often of not having that of not remembering their own chalice.
Yeah, and it's definitely important, even if you're not just chalice checking, because Malfi is very, very good about just saying, hey, there's a chalice, and just
Yep.
pointing to it. Every single time I've tried it. What Bug Hogaak is doing right now is filling their graveyard, because right now they've got 1 green creature, so that's one of the colored manas they need for Hogaak, just hard cast straight from their hand. And then all these just spells they're throwing in the grave right now. If
Yeah, we're gonna
if Malfi isn't going to throw down any pressure, we're just going to fill the grave up and then at some point cast Hogaak. So
yeah. Yeah, it's a great play from both, even though Left Coast's in a really tough position, not going down without a fight. Malfi just locking this board up with whatever they want. But I think they've played 4 straight lanes now, so they kind of flooded on their end.
that's correct too, though. So at least if you're flooding, that's a great land to be flooding into, especially if the
Yeah.
plan is going to be to just cast Hogaak with all the dredge stuff you're throwing in the graveyard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rockets is here too.
Yeah. I want to give some love to our table spotter, Doc. He is struggling keeping up with our players right now as they are both chugging through this match as fast as they can go.
Raw land pass, chalice check pass, raw land, yeah, chalice
Yeah.
pass.
Mappy puts the blast on 2, chalice check pass, chalice check pass. So big love to them down at our table side. But yeah, Left Coast doing their best here to kind of fight through this nonsense. Don't go too slow, chat JPEG. Absolutely right. But yeah, this is exciting. This is our lower bracket matches right now. As unfortunately these players lost sometime in their first matchups, and they're just still chugging out to get out of this lower bracket to get back into the final.
Yep, so that's going
Caracas.
to be our next 2 matches, correct? This one and then the next one are going to be our final lower brackets, and then we're coming into the finals.
Ooh, Ballista on 5 with a Caracas for that Hogaak. So just kind of locking that Hogaak into play. And it's just going to shoot the Arbor, the Dryad Arbor with the Ballista. Yep. Lock and loaded gun. Even though Malfi is in full control of this board, taking a ton of damage themselves from their ancient tombs.
Oh yeah, with double ancient tomb over there. That is definitely rough.
And then Chaotic Bear making sure that everyone's checking on their bingo card, cast a 10 mana spell on their bingo board.
Yeah, X spell's on there, but I think I could have, Great Sun Zenith for 0 is an X spell, so that gets it easy.
And that's a goal.
Hello.
So now we're playing Commander now. We are officially in Commander territory. We've got Golos Tireless Pilgrim coming down.
Yeah, other than the double Ancient Tomb, and for some reason playing Cloud Post and Commander, this is pretty much just an EDH board right now. All this stuff, all the artifacts, just slam it all.
We are getting confirmation that that our Chaotic Bear just gifted 2 subs. Thank you so much for that, my guy. That's huge. Thank you so much. We are getting confirmation that Left Coast is kind of understanding the position he's at, but allowing Malfi to kind of play it out so we can see it on stream, knowing that this is probably one of the perfect spots for Malfi to be in with a mold of 5. Practically having every answer. We may be going to a game 2 very, very, very quickly.
Definitely, yeah. And at some point, I think when you're on the Hogaak side, you realize all of these things just came out, and I have just straight up no way to beat it. And this game would have ended much earlier if we're not going to just see what Malfi can play out. And at this point, yeah.
Malfi searches, finds Cloud Post, and Left Coast goes, okay, cool. You showed off all your pretty cards. We can go to game 2.
Yeah, all the shiny cards. Malfi does have a very, very shiny deck.
Yeah, I've played Malfi quite a few times, lost quite a few times. D&T does not have a great matchup against Cloud Post, 12 post control. But yeah, so we saw the perfect start on the mold of 5 there for Malfi. slamming Chalice on 1 into Basalt, Sorcerer, Spyglass, lock you on lands. Does pretty well.
That worked very, very well. And do you think he's got anything that's going to work even better than that? Maybe keep a 7 this time in his sideboard coming in?
I definitely think we see us. So we have 12 post deck has a very interesting sideboard here. We got Walking Ballista, Liquid Metal Coating, Torpor Orb, Basalt Monolith, 3 copies of Dismember, 1 Ensnaring Bridge, 3 copies of Leyline of the Void, which we know are most likely going to come in against the Hogaak deck.
That's a good call.
1 Ravenous Trap, 1 Forsaken Monument, 1 Mycosynth Lattice, and 1 Spine of Ishap. So the big problem with 12 post is like half of the sideboard is the Karn toolkit. So those don't get touched. So really we're seeing probably a Walking Ballista might come in, or do you leave it in for its sideboard kind of deal? I definitely can see the Ravenous Traps and the Leyline of the Voids coming in to just get rid of that graveyard in a moment's notice. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely the Grave Hate stuff is an easy pick against Hogaak, especially having 2 different cards that do the same thing. You can't play around everything when you're playing a graveyard deck. So when you see a Leyline and then Hogaak responds to that and fixes it, and then they go for it after the Leyline's gone, and then you also have a Ravenous Trap, you can just get them really, really good in that regard. I think Dismember might not be good enough because it's just going to come right back, and you either take 4 from one of the creatures, like if Hogaak comes in with a Vengevine, you're taking 4, or you're taking 4 off of casting a Dismember. So it's not that interesting to bring that in. And I do agree that the wish board is very important, especially since Karn is a virtual 4 copies of any of those cards.
Yeah. So let's move over to the Hogaak list. Hogaak is very straightforward on its sideboard. 1 copy of Cabal Therapy, 2 copy of Thoughtseize, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Assassin's Trophies, 4 Vorse of Vigors, most likely going to come in against an artifact deck, and 4 Leyline of the Voids. Interesting that the Hogaak has 4 Leyline of the Voids. I don't know much about the Hogaak deck. Why is the Hogaak deck running 4 copies itself of a Leyline when they themselves are a graveyard?
I do remember back in Modern when Hogaak was just the deck to play, and if you weren't playing it, you were losing. It was just you played 4 Leylines because everybody was playing a graveyard deck, and in the mirror, you were playing against a graveyard deck, so play Leyline.
That's right. I forget that Leyline is single-sided. It's not double-sided. That's the problem. Yeah.
That's the problem with all these modern cards. It's like non-symmetrical hate stuff. It's so whatever. So yeah, it's very good, and especially it could depend on what the matchups are for Hogaak. Again, as not someone who plays Hogaak or has seen much of Hogaak, that it could very well be that the matchups in other graveyard decks, whether it's another Hogaak deck or a Reanimator deck or something like that, is just impossible for Hogaak. So throw it in the sideboard.
Definitely going to see probably all 4 copies of Force of Vigor come in here. It just can shut down a 12 post deck. Even our own people in chat are saying it. EC Path said Force of Vigor destroys 12 posts. I could even see Thoughtseize coming in, just taking some cards out of hand, some big cards out of hand.
I think that could be a good call, especially on the play for this game too. Left Coast has a chance to get in there and then steal whatever prison piece Malfi might have been just totally leaning on, depending on what hands he keeps.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, these are our best players for the last 3 months. They have got plenty of wins under their belt. These players know exactly what they are pretty much going to be going up against. So these players are picking those sideboard pieces very, very, very carefully. And I think we're going to see a very exciting game 2 for Bug Hogaak. Hopefully they don't get locked out super quickly this time, because Hogaak's a fun deck now. It's a little mellowed out now with so many graveyard hates decks in the field. Right. But I definitely could see the Thoughtseizes, maybe another copy of Cabal Therapy come in. I think we may see a slower game from Left Coast, knowing the game could possibly go long. But at the same time, you really hope you can go fast too. Even double careful study just to get off the front of the start of the game.
Right. Although one of the good things about having 3 game matches is that we can see both, and then that 3rd game it comes down to essentially who can pull it through. Because game 1's going to be this slow prison game that I got there, and you just sit there and watch. And then game 2 could possibly be Hogaak going to town, going real fast, and just slamming it. Well, speaking of slamming it, someone slammed a Leyline over here, which is a
pre-game effects. And we're going to see a turn 1 Hedron Crab. That's a card I have loved to death. Good old Hedron Crab, and now it's got a brother in the new Zendikar list, so we're seeing Mill come all over the game. But good old pre-game Leyline. That's pretty brutal if you're the Hogaak player.
Definitely, yeah. So that's a great, especially since both players kept on 7. Drawing the ley line in your opening 7 means that you just have 6 other great cards. It's a
Yeah.
mulligan that also screws over your opponent. So if you got any sort of keepable 6, oh,
Yeah.
it's so keepable.
Absolutely. So yeah, so left coast starting off very slow. Fortunately, Hedron Crab's gonna start filling up the bin whenever we get a land. Malfi in the tank here with his Ancient Tomb.
Does he lose 2 life every time he spins it like that? Does it count as
Yeah,
attack? Right?
it's 2, 4, 6, 8 every 90-degree turn. And I think Ancient Tomb just passed, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe not wanting to slam a chalice on one this time.
That's possible as well. Yeah, because with open deck list, he could see that the Force of Vigor is there. So if you play 2 of these hate pieces and then get totally blown out, and then Bug Hogaak just has the doors wide open, you have to make him use it on one thing, and then you can play your second piece and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Also, Beyond Sadistic, thank you so much for the 3 months. We appreciate everything you've done here for us at MTG Paper Legacy. And we are going to see the landfall targeting Malfi instead of targeting Left Coast here because that ley line just shuts off their graveyard. Why not just get everything out of their list at this point?
Yeah, might as well, because until you find an answer to the ley line, you're doing nothing trying to fill your own graveyard. So if you're going to get a trigger, might as well put the trigger on someone that actually can do something.
Yeah, so we got Glimmer Post, Stage, Bridge in the first trigger, and the second trigger, I believe I see a Monolith, both forms of Monolith, and I believe that might have been an Ugin? I'm not entirely sure.
Grim, Assault, and Karn the Great Creator.
Yeah, wow, what a great hit. And also, thank you so much for the 300 cheers, Beyond Sadistic. Really means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the support. We're glad to be here. We're glad that you're here with us and helping us out and that sort of thing.
So Bloodghast from Left Coast here. So kind of just on the, we're just going to go aggro, I guess, landfall aggro, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, it's just kind of doing your slow spinning tires sort of thing and going for leyline.
Yeah.
Got to find an answer at some point.
Yeah, making sure our ley line gets checked there by Malfi so that Bloodstained Mire is in the exile zone. Oh, is that an Inventor's Fair? Oh, what a sick card.
Yeah.
I love Inventor's Fair.
Stonecoil Serpent on 3.
Ooh.
So that aggro plan just kind of disappeared now because he got a big 3/3 blocker.
Yeah. Seems good, though. A 3/3 that has protection for multicolor, reach, and trample. So, kind of everything it needs to be.
Yeah.
Remember when Throne of Eldraine came out and I drafted, I had 2 of my packs. I got past the Stonecoil Serpent in my pack 2, and I was like, sick. I'm playing Stonecoil Serpent. We're good. We're golden.
Yeah. I'm not a big drafter, but the first time I ever drafted Throne, I passed the Stonecoil Serpent pack 1, pick 1, because I wanted to take the Lucky Clover and draft Adventures. I saw like 2 Adventures for the rest of the draft, so that was a very bad call.
Well, I think Stonecoil Serpent was a very undermined card when it first got announced, and then we saw it get played modern in a whole bunch of, and then Pioneer got announced, and so it became there was that blue-red artifact list that played
Soul Artifact, yep.
Yeah, Soul Artifact. Yeah, that deck was insane. And now we're seeing Stonecoil Serpent even make its way into Legacy with 12 post. So
yep. So here comes the Dryad Arbor, gets a trigger off of the crab, and it's no use milling yourself. So Malfi is going to flip over All His Dusk, Golos, and Walking Ballista. So
those are some big hits.
Pretty decent hits, even if just flipping some random stuff.
Oh, and there's a Karn. Could we just see the Mycosynth last lock next turn? Oof. We could just quickly see a lock here for Malfi. Oof. I'm a little worried if I'm Left Coast here, not exactly knowing what the best card to be grabbing out of the sideboard here. And yeah, Malfi is just going to tick down. Malfi, we're getting confirmation that Malfi is deep in the tank looking at their sideboard here. And I think we could start seeing a little bit of spice here from Malfi.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun choices in there, and definitely, as we talked about previously, I don't think any of those artifact targets came in. So whatever we find is anything that was available in the sideboard.
Yeah.
Oh, so this time, this turn he's just going to go with a plus. He's not searching yet because he's tapped out, nothing to play. Doesn't want to expose anything he grabs to any sort of hand disruption that could have come in.
Exactly. There are 4 copies of Cabal Therapy, 4 copies of Thoughtseize here. Could really ruin whatever Malfi may be grabbing there in total. And another activation of Hadron Crab here, just hitting more and more. Just good stuff here. I think that was a Sorcerer's Spyglass, another post. And again, we're just going to keep going. Another Golos is gone. Jeez.
Another ley line. I don't think we need those that much in that
Yeah.
third. Possibly see confirmation.
Yeah, the first copy was Spyglass, Glimmer Post, and Leyline. And I believe the second one hit another Golos.
Yep. Ravenous Trap. That's that third hit there.
Oof. Oh, so we did see the Ravenous Trap come in.
Yep, that's definitely a good hit. Although the ley line makes it a little bit redundant, it's still good to have that little gotcha moment just in case.
Yeah.
So now some hard casting some creatures over here. Although that blocker is pretty helpful.
Yeah, hard cast Vengevine. Just hey, what's up? I mean, we're gonna swing here. Let's play. If you're gonna, you got a blocker. Let's see if you use it. What is that? Swinging 6 or 7 there? I think we got a grave. We've got a 2/1 and a 4/4. So swinging 6. Gonna block the grave crawler. I mean the the blood gas.
Although now that Karn is at 2, doesn't he have to? Let me check how he does. Yeah, if he minuses 2 and goes for the lock with Mycosynth Lattice, Karn is gone.
Yeah.
So you can still activate your artifacts. That all of your stuff is artifacts now, but now it can still be activated. So that is definitely a good call. Swinging at the Karn instead of just trying to go aggro.
Yep.
Now you just don't straight up lose.
Yeah, that's a really good swing there for Left Coast there, making sure the game doesn't lock up there.
Yeah.
So just gonna uptick Karn.
Get some more soul lands here. Vesuva comes in, copying the Ancient Tomb. Hopefully his life total doesn't matter too much, judging by how slow Hogaak is going. It definitely could. Yeah, just hard cast some more creatures and then surprise coming in with all the damage you've been taking off of these Ancient Tombs. It could.
Yeah, it definitely didn't matter in game 1 where Malfi went down to 4 and Left Coast didn't lose a point of life and Malfi won that game. So yeah. So we're seeing here now Left Coast trying to figure out what happens next here. They're in a really awkward spot, trying to figure out, but we're just going to get more and more crab activation. There's a Staff of Domination, another Karn, and I believe that was a Mystic Forge. Yeah.
All these great cards. I love seeing all these cards, but then I hate seeing them go into the graveyard. So,
I mean, when you're gonna play Leyline of the Void, those landfalls are gonna come towards you, and another Vine, just gonna hard slam Vine.
Yeah. And if they both come in at Karn's gone, you now can avoid the lock sort of thing.
Yeah, and since these players know what they're dealing with, he knows that another Karn's already hit the bin. So, swinging 8 here.
Got 8 coming in, all at Karn.
Yep.
Karn is blocking 1 because that won't save him anyways. So Karn will go away. We've got no more chance at the lock for now, but this is still a pretty commanding position in my opinion. Even though we're just hard casting creatures on Hogaak's side, Malfi does have a lot of action he can have.
Yeah, this is going to be great. And there's an Ugin, just kind of slam an Ugin.
Which Ugin does a lot here. That's a very large amount of things to happen.
Yeah, pretty rough. We could just kind of just -4 and just kind of take everything off the battlefield.
Yep. And all of that time that Left Coast spent playing these creatures, hard casting these Vengevines, it's all going to be reversed.
Yeah,
yeah. That's a good call in the chat here. If Ugin minuses 4, there goes the ley line as well. So is he going to maybe bolt the Vengevines? He'll kill one of them and then maybe block the second one to keep Ugin alive and keep his ley line alive?
That's the question. I mean, Left Coast only has 2 cards in hand here. So we'll have to see I mean, at this point, I think Leyline's done enough to keeping the game kind of at their hand.
Right.
Yeah, Rax is kind of saying the exact same thing. It is kind of okay, but yeah, it looks like they're just going to uptick and bolt. I think maybe the best case here for Malfi with no real huge threat to the Ugin. Maybe just keep upticking Ugin all the way up to 10 and just dropping everything onto the board. But man, Malfi's running out of cards here quick. There goes another chalice.
Theoretically, at some point, we could see a surprise Altar Dementia come down, and then just sack your creatures before Ugin gets to them, and then we're really on. Yeah, hello.
Called it. There it is.
Gotta respect the speed. And surprise, your entire deck is gone, and now you lose, even though you had Leyline on turn 0. That could theoretically come into play, especially you can just do it in response to the Ugin making a bolt decision.
Yeah, this can get real spooky right now for Malfi real quick here.
It's a lot of cards in the graveyard.
Yeah. This is a very, very exciting game here. I think Left Coast has played this as well as they could with seeing a turn 0 leyline. I mean, for all we know, Malfi could just get decked here.
Definitely,
if they're possible, we could just see Malfi just get straight decked here. But gotta respect a Nugan, gotta respect a 3/3 Stonecoil Serpent. So let's just see. And yeah, Mike, you're absolutely right. This game is bananas.
I do also appreciate that Left Coast is proving us wrong, because we were just talking about how it's essentially a game of if you go slow, Prison wins. If you go fast, Hogaak wins. And this is a slow game that Hogaak is actually standing a decent chance in. This no game is actually a possibility at this point. So it looks like Ugin is going to bolt the Hedron Crab to try and get rid of it. We're going to get one more mill trigger here. And then the Altar Dementia is going to have to carry us the rest of the way.
Yeah, and we did get a Left Coast is asking how many cards Malfi has left in his library. Yep. So the mill plan is on right now for Altar. So we're gonna keep seeing this. Ugin up to 11, another Vesuva here.
Copy the blast zone, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, Left Coast had to bring that swamp up to the front of the screen to show off the Euro swamp.
There's some great basic lands out there. I do appreciate the Euro lands a lot.
Yeah, very, very exciting. I mean, everyone's deck has their own personal flair. We're seeing it. Malfi pretty much full foil colorless list, and Left Coast with his gorgeous basics and his duels. I mean, we've seen it with all over the place with Frosty, and she has her beautiful APAC, planes, just all of a sudden. Yeah, ultimating Ugin may just deck Malfi. That is a definite scare. I think if you're on Malfi's side of the board.
Game. Ooh.
You draw 7, lose the game. Oof, yeah, that would be really, really rough. We love gurus in this chat. We really, really do.
Gurus are too rich for my blood, but I do appreciate them.
Left Coast apparently is talking to Malfi about the mill out here, and they're trying to figure out if it's possible. So we're going to see a Grave Caller come down for Left Coast here. I would love to see a mill out on stream. That'd be sick from a Hogaak deck on the opponent.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
Prove us all wrong on what Hogaak can do against the prison deck. So swinging 4 or 5 here. Yeah. Gonna mill out some more.
Yeah, so it looks like we blocked with the Stonecoil Serpent, and then okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll just stack it to the Altar in response, and we'll get there with the mill.
Yeah, mills for 1. Mike, we might have to have that discussion tomorrow during our mod meeting. We're not exactly sure. We'll have a vote tomorrow.
So we got Ugin's little brother, also Ugin, coming in right here. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Tapping some mana, make it happen. Possibly going to exile some of the creatures and then just make them have the altar right now. get a new count of the cards left in the deck.
If I'm Malfi, I'm probably sweating pretty hard right now, knowing that we have 5 cards gone on board right now, if we're looking at it. And then they're just gonna, target me with that. I'm gonna hit you for 4.
Yeah.
Here
Comes the count. Let's see it.
it's a lot more than I thought it was.
That's still a decent amount of cards left.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot more. We're just gonna uptick Ugin to 13. Bolt the Gravecrawler, sack it, hit you for 1, hit you for 2. Whew. It's getting close. It's getting super close.
On that count. We got the count, whatever that was made on camera, and then the count -2.
Yeah.
Because we get 2 more off of Gravecrawler.
Oh man, it's close. It's got to be less than 15 cards, I'm guessing. 1, 2, 3. I can't even count as fast as Malfi's counting, but it's got to be less than 15. It looked like 11, maybe.
I think it's 13.
15.
Ooh.
15 cards left. So, whew. It's really close.
So we got no creatures left to sack to alter at this point, but we'll find something maybe. I don't think that an Ugin ultimate just straight up wins the game at any point. You end up with 7 cards left in your library.
I think an Ugin ult is the thing you have to do if you've got nothing left.
Yeah.
ECP Math giving all the love to Mouthy tonight in the chat. Really wants them to pull this game off. We love that.
So it looks like we've draw stepped an Assassin's Trophy here. You do it in the draw step typically just in case your opponent drew their only basic land and they can't search anymore. We're going to get rid of that Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So we've got no ult concerning at all coming in, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a great choice there. Just really kind of puts the back burner off. And I think that's a Cascading Cataracts coming down there for Malfi.
That is.
So just going to have kind of everything they want here. Create that. So we got a 2/2 colorless Spirit on the battlefield for Malfi.
Looks like a little metalworker almost.
Let's see, what do we got here? I think Left Coast is kind of just letting Malfi be in the driver's seat here.
Yep. With the exiles on the spirits, the mill plan is no longer with no more creatures on the board to alter, and we're just going to start making 2/2 spirits and coming in.
Yeah, I think that's the best choice, and I think this game might very well be over here. Oh, excuse me. Oh.
Yeah, those are Millworker Spirit tokens. I think someone mentioned that previously Malfi played Mud, so it's only fair that he's got a bunch of cool Mud-related things.
Yeah.
Well, the Abrupt Decay does give Left Coast 1 more turn of surviving. Looks like it was a 2-turn clock due to the Spirit creation, but now he's got only 5.
Yeah, I think that's just going to do it.
Yeah, the top card is just not anything anymore. So
more land. They got flooded.
Yeah, a lot of flood. Unfortunately, the mill plan didn't get there. That would have been very, very exciting. But also exciting is that 12 Post got to do its thing. That game won with a mold of 5 and just having everything right in a line, every single piece that you wanted to have was a thing of beauty. I love to see that.
Yeah, it was a very, very good game here. So we're gonna be following Malfi now pretty much for the rest of the day, because now they've got to play against Frosty.
Yep, we've got one more match down in the lower bracket, and then someone is going to get their chance at redemption after taking 1 loss. We're going to go to the finals against Charble after that one.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a good 5-10 minute break here. Let the casters switch out. I'll be around. Lone Digger, thank you so much for joining me for that sick game.
Thank you for
awesome to have you on stream. And I'll be right back soon with another caster, and we're going to get right into Death and Taxes versus 12 Post. You guys have a great day. We'll see you guys in like 5 minutes.
Cannot wait to watch that.
And we'll see you guys in about 5 minutes.